Oh gosh, I'm about to go down again. I wibble and wobble, but I will not go down. Oh, come on, put that head back up again. There we go. Oh god. Just back up from in.
The thing that I am called for trying to explain my side. Loser is things I am called to try to hurt my pride. Evil is the thing that caused all this to break our bond. Nothing can be done to, so I journey into the great beyond. Cocoverse has fallen, go away and stop stalling. You will never be welcome back, so grab your stuff and pack. Cocoverse has fallen, but it's time to go all in. It's time to pick yourself back up. Hop in the different verse to build up. Fire in my heart is the thing that fuels the drive to not give in. Ambition flows in my soul to be best I have been. Lost is the feeling of regret of not being adored. Love for myself is all I need to begin being restored. Electrified is the feeling I have to rise to the top. Never will these feelings of doubt make me stop. Cocoverse is supposed to be fallen. Why is he still brawling? Why is he getting a second chance? That was supposed to be his last dance. Cocoverse is still falling, but he won't stop falling. I guess we can't keep him dark. Let's see what happens this arc.
Yellow, what is up, everybody? Hope I was doing pretty good. Hope I was doing pretty well. Back at it again. MMO. Except this time I went backwards with it instead of going forwards with like newer MMOs. After most recent one, I'm just like, I need to play something I enjoy. I need to play something that I think people can relate to, actually kind of dive into. If you've never played this before, it's because maybe before. Game's called Phantasy Star Universe. I am playing on a private server, Clementine, which they are graciously kept everything, added more stuff to it on top of that, and they're updating the server like almost like monthly, or it's less than that sometimes, like every 2 weeks. So, adding new missions, gear, a lot of different things overall. I already have a full-fledged character, as in-game character out here, but I wanted to kind of show like what made people really get to MMOs these days. I feel like that people get to MMOs a lot and don't really get into it as much as they could on there. And that's the goal for me today, is to actually really get people back into MMOs type deal. Like, to show also developers on top of that, that how they do it nowadays, like, for example, just push the gacha, the glam, and stuff like that. That's not what drew people to MMOs back in the day, or even today. Basically, people play MMOs for like a day or two and just drop off, and some people, it just don't hook a lot of people like it used to. games like these had high retention rates for the factor of stuff to do, no pay gated content, nothing like that. That's what made such a special experience for games like these. I do feel Sega lost their way with the most recent iteration with MGS. I felt the start of it at PSO, which PSO 2 kind of like stick around with a lot of stuff, but it didn't. It did not really. How can we say stick with like what made it special? Overall, you went to different areas, but you didn't really go to different areas. If you get what I'm saying, like I'm gonna show you with this one, it kind of made this entry to the series separated itself as being like a progression instead of a regression. I'll kind of show you why in a second. But first, we'll show the character creator. You actually have originally had 3 races, which was human, Newman, and cast. They added more races, which is in Beast, and they added Dumans later on as well too. On top of that, based on lore reasons and such, Dumans are in this game effectively. There's not in there for it's just not effectively in the game because of balance and such like that on there. I've been hearing that Clementine's going to add Dumans to the actual equation soon. Knock on wood, but we'll see though. But yeah, humans are basically the all-around types. They can do anything. They're great at everything. They're good at everything. Master of nothing. Best way to describe humans. But they are very reliable. Basically, if you're not sure what you want to do, or if you like to do multiple things, that's what humans are good for. Unlike the previous entries, though, where there was limitation to classes for race and sex and stuff like that, PSU did not have that anymore. For example, Newmans can now actually not only be like the mage classes, they can also be like fighters, they could be gunners, all the above overall with that. They're not limited to roughly one class anymore. You guys should play all the classes with this class. However, they do best at force-based classes overall because their force power being the highest, their technical issue being the highest. They're not, like it says in here, they're not super close quarters combat, but they can. You can do it with them. Casts, of course, are the unique little tank gear, really good with everything. Really good at like close quarters, really good at like firearms, like that. Of course, they have the highest accuracy, they're better for the super firearms, but they do really well as actual fighters. They do really well as actual everything. And like other previous entries, casts have evolved to the point now where they can actually cast technics because of some actual interluding of some sort. I forgot what the lore reason was. I used to know it off the top of my head. I think it's basically because of their evolution over time that they didn't really know they could use the energy like they could, but it was a very small amount. They started able to kind of focus it a little bit better because of like the way they're designed. So they can use text, but they're not highly suited for text though. They also take more damage from text as well too. These are the newest, or the new news of the class based overall, which I wish they'd bring them back, honestly. I feel like that they actually did not give them enough time to flourish. This is like a lot, beasts were utilized a lot. Oh, what's up, buddy? Oh, Clementine still, there's a lot of people on Clementine still, buddy. Don't even think of, yeah, it's always people playing on Clementine. Beasts are suited for close quarters combat, really good like melee, trying to have really strong. Of course, accuracy is an issue for them early on. However, in this game, once you get better weapons and gear, it's very negatable. There will be some instances where you see stuff actually happen, but it's very negatable in there. While they're not as good as technics as let's say humans or Newmans, they are better than the cast with casting techniques in most cases overall. So the cool thing about them, they used to actually have unique features about basically, while basically the IS2 class had drawbacks to them where they couldn't do stuff as well as the other classes, they gave them a balancing factor of being cast, being able to class out a crash attack and like blasts, smashes, heavy damage, like after you do enough damage yourself. That was their way of balancing the class out, because early on, basically, when they said they couldn't do technics, they really did not do Technics well. They basically were just really bad with Technics and stuff. They had to balance it out with SUV, stuff like that, which I gave them that to get on there. Beast, on the other hand, while they're better at Technics and stuff like that, they missed a lot. So roughly they had to balance it out to a certain extent with them as well too. The best way to explain as far as how they missed a lot is if you play PSO, when you try to use a slicer or something like that, you couldn't hit them and stuff like that as well without having like some gear or something like that. That's the way Beasts actually were originally on there. However, they had to balance out with Nano Blast, which increased all their abilities across the board on there. Like an accuracy, damage like that, gave them a burst attack of like for so many seconds due to business like that. But as the game progressed and as gear got higher, it became an unbalanced scenario there, where basically Beast and Cass were basically winning speed runs and nobody wanted to use humans or Newmans for anything because they couldn't really win the races and stuff like that when people did races on there. After a while, humans and Newmans got their own actual special blast. They're called Nano Blast. They're called Nano Blast on there, which I don't know why they have it at the beginning, but I understood the why behind it. You know, everybody had like Max Blast, stuff like that, but they didn't really implement it from there until later on in the series on there. And that's what it came down to on this side of the fence on there, as far as like why, like if you look at old videos like that, why they weren't able to do anything like that. That's the reason why. And of course, there's male and female for each class. The elf class, of course. Even the bots had the female, basically them bots and stuff like that. The ears were down for females, the abilities were up for males. But yeah, this is basically a nice little upgrade from there. They upgrade across the board as far as capabilities concerned. Clementine has actually really balanced out a lot of stuff with the game overall, so it made the experience a lot better from starting to finish on there. But I really wanted to show why people actually go back to it like this all the time. Of course, Character Creator was still, for the time when it came out, was definitely top of the line at the time it came out on there. You get different face types on there. You can really create your character down to make them both old, young. Make them look battle weary. Different face types as well too on top of that. Make them look younger. Actually make them shorter, taller, fat, short, muscular, like giant, like buffed out. Husky strong, basically, or like a rail. Skinny, fat, all the above. I'm gonna go for go for skinny fat. Oh, did we do that? There we go. Before getting skin colors available too. So like you could like somebody legit black on here, which is actually crazy. Do not believe how hard it is to actually be able to find an actor to be able to make a blacker character type deal without looking at the person. PSU basically did a good job with it. They made it look less atrocious, everything on there. One of those features that they always had on there. That's one of those things that, like, at the time it came out, you were surprised by. Like, this is 2006, mind you guys. 2006. This was shortly after PSO, basically. Back. PSO was like 2001, 2002. like it was on a newer console as well. They actually did remakes of it. You thought that was gonna be peak there, which it was peaking. More surprising on that. But yeah, it's just like, wow. This game was, I wouldn't even say ahead of its time. I would say that it was right time, but I think it was a little bit ahead of its time when it came out. It was a very first for like Xbox themselves as well too. On top of that, a legit, like, besides they actually did Final Fantasy 11 afterwards, but PSU was like the first actual, I would say, MMO that people played, and it was like such a high percentage on Xbox that they actually had a focus for a while on making Xbox content. They did not think it was successful in this. To give you kind of a run through, the most played actual Xbox demo of all time is still PSU. And if the Xbox servers were still up, PSU would still be people. If PSU servers were still up, the demo server would still be up. People would still be in the demo server playing that one. There have been people that actually sat in the demo server still to the last days of Xbox, or to the last days of PSU, that were still in the demo server, because if they couldn't afford it monthly and stuff like that, they stayed on that server, which had the very first iteration of PSU in general. So it wasn't anything like super special or anything like that. I think they did something crazy, like they actually let it be for free for the last 2 months, so people could actually play it and stuff like that. So people on the demo server, and the more strange about it, people just still played on the demo server even more. More strange about that. It is surprising that. Or catching up a bit. I got a little advertised opportunity. I'm sorry, guys. I'm should be focused on the game, but I got a little advertised opportunity. Making sure it's legit, because you'd be surprised how many try to sell you something. Goes. All this thing though. I'm on it. I am interested. Okay. Finishing up. But yeah, character creation here. You can see different little bodysuits you have for your character. This is your undersuit for your character, so if you was wanting to kind of like dress up and stuff like that, or just go out in this is your workout suit basically. My understanding, in Japan, originally they were a lot more skimpy. The males were shirtless, in fact, at one time, but they actually but later on they actually had a shirtless option after with the beach wear and stuff like that. Of course, gotta make my hair blonde. The Cocoa Verse. Make my ears bigger, of course, on there. Eyelashes. Forgot about that. You could actually do stuff to your eyelashes. I don't think I have eyelashes on my character. Fierce look. Oh, I'm on PCP now at this point. That's the outfit there. Close that down. And out of the box, unlike other MMOs, guess what they did? They gave you clothing to start off with. They gave you actual clothing, good looking clothing too. Guess we'll go. Some good purple stuff. Go purple. And yes, you can select your own voice. Is that like a chipmunk, or you have a deep voice like this? Wow, you had like a lot of voices at the time. It's absolutely. You gotta say this is. You gotta say how wild this is. This is 2006. 2006, guys. We barely get this on some games that come out like now. The wildest part about this is like 2006. All right, we're gonna name ourselves, of course, Cocoverse. And yes, you can space your name out too. Here I go. New character, freshie. This is the thing you start off in right here. You look at this, you're running around. You're like, wow, this is a really big area. And you see these different areas, you go into your room there. Oh, one more thing. This game had a room system. You have a room. Yes, you have your own room in this game. Out of the box, you have your own room. Merry Christmas 2005. That's from the server. Roughly, you actually had your own room here. You can sit down in your bed. You can lay down too. You can change your stances and stuff like that. But as your room is bare, ew, bad. It always come out everywhere. There you go. This room you could actually decorate, in fact. But of course, we'll get to that when we can. You have your own little table over here that you can sit down with. Oh, great. Best thing about this game as well, too, on top of that, on Xbox, your voice chat worked in this room. You can have so many people in your room as well, too, on top of that, so you can actually engage in chat with each other. You can hold meetings in your room, stuff like that, depending on what type of room you had as well, too. Of course, you have all these other planets here. But why can't you access them? Because you have to go to them first, guys. That's the wonder of this game. Go up the big old ramp. see all these different shops here. Item shop, where you buy items at, of course. She's stacked full of items at the moment. Weapon shop, you can buy weapons. And armor shop, where you buy armor. You also have weapon upgrade shop here. A long time ago, the game first started overall, they made the game a lot more hardcore as far as like how weapons and items worked overall. Weapons and items were a lot more precious at the time because they dropped quite consistently like that. The drop rates were a tad bit higher too on top of that, at the very beginning versus the original before after when they actually rebalanced everything out. However, if you grind up an item, if you break the item, unlike you have a chance of failure. When you break the item, guess what? The item disappears forever. So when you grind your weapons up, you take a risk on there. But with risk comes reward. You get more power. That was the original iteration of PSG. There goes a club here, in fact. You're like, oh, I got a club here. And yeah, people hung out in the club a lot too. In here, you can interact with people and stuff like that. You can even dance up here on the stage and stuff like that. Actually change the settings, I think. I think I changed the code settings. You can actually, it's talking about cut-in display. You have, when you can set up cut-ins like with facials and stuff like that, and allow it to be shown on there. Turn stereo. Turn music volume down too. And you can dance up here if you want to. You can dance on the stage. You can dance, be a backup dancer too. Cool thing is that you can hold down shift and be the lead singer, or be one of the backup dancers like this right here. You can dance moves, but you can change dance moves by actually hold down shift on there too. Different spins and stuff like that. And guess what, guys? You didn't have to pay for all this. You got all this out of the box here. People hung out here at one time, and that was such a crazy thing about it. You can interact with people, beat up with people, stuff like that. People sat in party chats and sitting there and chilling and talking. It's a strange thing to think about that you had people actually interact with each other online. At the time, the concept was wild. Another thing, guys, guess what? See clothes right here? See the clothing here? In the newer games, you have to pull for these clothing. Guess what you can do in this game? You can buy it with actual Meseta. You can buy it with actual Meseta. They actually changed it out every weekly and stuff like that. Another cool thing about it was originally they actually set them up for drops and such like that too. So if you actually roughly want to get some type of cool clothing, they actually came out as drops. Like, you bought rare monsters, they were drops, in fact. So they were basically earned out in game. And my favorite set, of course, the Fomar set. If I want to throw back, I can. And of course, you can have your swimwear. This is where you actually get shirtless at. This used to be dropped during the summertime, in fact. You had different ones. You had Speedos. You had, like... The game knew its audience before to get on there. Of course, there's the Rappy suit. You heard that from a drop as well, too. These things were expensive, in fact. And Luminous coats were drops as well. These were bought more than rare drops, in fact. Oh, forgot to tell you guys. One more thing. Let's go back to the actual room again here. For better or for worse, the game has an open market, in fact. For it to load up. You can access it through your actual bag. If I choose a name for it. Yes, let's give it a name. Let's call it... We'll call it... Actually, you know what? Somebody do a character for it. You can access the shop here. And of course, you search for different items like weapons, gear, body armor. We'll search for a lion shield, which is body armor. In fact, I can wear it, in fact. And they have slots on some of them as well, too. And this is the cool thing about this. Basically, how body armor worked a long time ago, our very first iteration of BSU, a body armor worked is that the neutral ones were considered the better ones out of the group because you had no drawbacks to it whatsoever on there. However, if you were to get a percentage on the armor and stuff like that, if anything were to attack you with that same percentage, it gives you basically half all damage plus the percentage of that actual element of that originally. So not only gave you half damage of that element, you actually took off a percentage of, you actually took 23% less damage on top of that. Now, this is where the game gets dynamic here. This is for everybody. This is actually for enemies, you, bosses, everything. However, if you were the opposite element, like if you was ground instead of electric, it ignored your defense, and you take that much more damage on top of that based on your percent. So, in other words, risk-reward factor. The more opposite you were of the actual deck, let's say you found some super rare 50% armor. If you go for that level and it's like, oh yeah, you actually take half damage, you take 50% less than on top of that, which means you take like 25% total damage from that. On the actual opposite side of this, not only to ignore your total defense, take all that damage plus 50% on top of that. So it was a double-edged sword at the time. They balanced it out by changing up how defense works and stuff like that with the newer updates, because they realized that, hey, some people were just dying left and right, getting red-shirted, and some people were just like going through content pretty easily. So because they had everything, they actually kind of figured out the deal, or it all went neutral armor type deal. They wanted to add more value to other actual element armors because they didn't really have all the elements out at the time. So they actually had to balance out that way armor worked at the time on there. So that's how it works out now with that. And of course, it's the all-slot armor. Support line. This is why I want to get early on, of course, because not only has all the slots available, I actually can do that. And then on top of that, with the armor, you can actually put units in them. And the units in them basically add it to your current stats. Like you actually add to your element, add to your defense, evasion. It could be like a draw. It could be plus and drawbacks as well too. On top of that, they give you stun resist, burn resist. Which was very important. Sleep resist was definitely the #1 thing people looked for because of the thing that was farmed at that time, which was White Beast. And roughly a lot of enemies cast sleep on you. And without attackers, it became very atrocious. Then you had like headpiece that gave you higher attack. They actually had something called Hard Quick that made you actually lower the tech, but you cast it way faster, so it helped out your DPS by a good bit. Then you had stuff like Solid Knight, which is basically no drawbacks whatsoever. It gives you extra attack and accessory on that, and an accuracy on that. These sought after that like a champ because they actually wanted that little extra bit of accuracy at the time. You had Legless Rainbow. The Hard Quick were very important for the fact they increased your attack speed by a good bit. Hard Force increased your damage, but there's no drawing slower either, thankfully, on that. A lot of different ones. This extended your range of your attacks. So if you were focused on support, you could just sit there and have higher support. There was a lot of min-maxing in 2006 through 2008, a lot of stuff like that. So not only you had that, you actually had a free open market, and you can sell stuff from Aseta. Aseta's the stuff you use to buy stuff, which you earn by playing the game in general and selling stuff. So we're back to Guardian's Colony again. We're going to now speed walk to the top floor now, because talk about all the stuff the game actually had and all the wonder this game had, which is wonderful on this. We're gonna get to the main area, which is usually the 4th floor. You get there faster with elevators, but I wanted to kind of walk around and just like let everybody look around about different areas. Like you had a lot of areas you could explore here. Oh, there goes a person. I think I know that person, in fact. I don't think I know that Kane. This is the 4th floor. This is the main floor. Where everybody goes to for a lot of different things here. You have people here. You have tall beast women here. As you can tell, they're really well made on this game as well, too. On top of that, you have all different shapes and sizes. Then you had the very top floor, which is the Guardians thing, where you actually switched out classes, did a lot of different things like this and that. They had this little feature where basically you can transport different planets and stuff like that without going to anything, which is pretty cool. But I want to show how you originally get to it. Here, the main part, you can change up. You actually had a person who can give you quests. There's the counter, different mission counters here. First called Photon Art. And you actually can buy, it shows you, gives you a description of each class. Shows you what you can and can't do. Then you get to advanced classes, which of course, let's go back to the original one. Hunter, of course, was the Hunter class, which used to be limited to like certain classes. You use skills up to 20, bullets up to 10. So you use different guns, stuff like that, to level 10. Ranger, you use bullets up to level 20. However, you use skills up to 10, you can't use techniques at all. And with Force, you can, while you basically are less tanky and stuff like that, you can use skills up to 10, bullets up to 10, you use attack and support techniques up to 20. So you always were considered the stronger of the, you actually had a lot of abilities, but drawback is your stats were lower too on top of that. Then you had the advanced classes, which is the Fire Gunner, which basically had the highest level of skill at the time for skills and also bullets. They could use both. They used to be the only class to use double sabers for a while. Like there was only one class to use double saber. This class was it. Guntecher had access to S level bows besides they actually be able to do a lot of damage with besides force. At the time, the way bows were designed, they ignored defense and actually just hit them directly. It pierced armor with no problems on there. But the balancing factor was the actual level of the bullets, which, you know, forces could use higher level bullets. However, Guntecher can, and that became their main weapon there. Guntecher could just sit there and devastate people with bows without having to use a rifle or anything like that. That's when they had to buff out rifles. And they also could use like higher level shotguns as well too, which was the business weapon on top of that. Not only could they do that, they could use assist techs. It was 30 at one time, but they buffed it up to be 20 to balance them out, to be balanced up to the master class type stuff that came out. Wartecher is one of my favorite classes. This is the one that lets you dabble into like being a fighter, support techer, stuff like that. It allows you to do more of the actual fighter class stuff while being able to pass tests and stuff like that. Hence the name Wartecher. Emphasis on striking along with attack techs and assists. Everything used to be 30, 30, 30, but they balanced it out by dropping the bullets to 10, skills to 30, attacks to 40, and then assists up to 30. Fortifighter was the actual forte of fighter, which means that they were the best at fighting. So all their skills were up to 40, bullets were 20, they couldn't use technics then. Forte Gunner was forte of Gunner, which this was the class that kind of like took a lot to get higher at that point. They had to really balance this class out. It had really good rifle damage and weapon damage with shotguns and stuff like that, but the balancing was just kind of really awful Fortifighter or Forte Gunner. It didn't really have a lot of like things going for it at the time, so they actually added more weapon selection to it. Fortecher, of course, the bomb, boom, boom, goes crazy with attacks and stuff like that. Of course, you can use tech, attack, support. This used to be the class, the actual top tier of the force class. That one allows you to get away with a lot more stuff across the board. You can blow stuff up, you can skill buff really well. The bows were definitely devastating at level 20, but they buffed it up to balance it out with other classes when they come out with other classes besides that. But that was the balancing factor on that. This group was the original. This group was the original classes, I think. I think Fire Gunner, Guntecher, Wartecher, Fortifighter, Fire Gunner, and Fortecher were the original classes. I'm trying to remember. I think they might have had only these three at first here, and then they released this after the fact. I think they actually had them all at the same time, though. I'm just not sure. I have to really kind of like look back at some old stuff to see if that actually was the case in there. I could have sworn it was only these three classes originally, then they had these three classes come out afterwards. When Ambition of Luminous came out, they added a few other classes, which was Protranser. Protranser is a hybrid class of some sorts, which roughly, from my understanding with testers that were in Japan, this originally had access to text, but it was really busted because it had access to text and stuff like that. They nerfed it by taking text away from the Protranser. Protranser has high level skills, high level bullets, but they have all the two-handed weapons available access to on there. So long swords, bows, lasers, grenade launchers. They had access to everything like heavy weapon wise. They also had access to S-tier traps as well too on top of that. This class is underappreciated, underutilized because all the traps like that. This was the ultimate mobbing class. So if the map had a lot of mobs, this is the class to use on that whole deal because you get away with a lot of stuff. You can hinder them. You can basically sit there and damage them. You can sit there like everything works with Protranser. My little Protranser is called Havoc. Then my favorite class is the Acro Fighter, Acro Techer. Acro Fighter was a special speedster class. It had a higher speed of attack speed, and it attacked faster. It has full access to one-handed weapons on there, which one-handed weapons, of course, like swords, daggers, stuff like that. And it had few access to a few two-handed weapons, but it was like A-rank, but everything their forte was their speed, stuff like that. This was the main class that used S-tier slicers. Slicers, of course, old favorite for PSO. You can sit there and hit multiple enemies at once and then throw it up at enemies like that from a distance. It was a striking weapon that you could do from a distance, which that's what made Acro Fighter really good. Not only that, because of the speed of them as well too. They attack faster, they move faster, everything was fast by Acro Fighter. Acro Techer, same benefits. You can actually have access to one-handed weapons and one-handed tech stuff overall, which Acro Techer became a main actual staple class just like the other classes, realistically, because all the support techs it had access to on there. It's the ultimate support class, allows you to give you buffs, support, actually it's people much easier, across the board, really well done class, hands down one of the best classes. Those are my favorite. I'm a personal fanboy of Acro Techer, so you know what I'm talking about it. Now we go to the master classes. The master classes is Master Force, Spy Master, which is the force, basically, which gives you speed of the Acro Techer, except as fighter weapons, two-handed weapons, and stuff like that. These are considered speedrunning classes. These are master classes right here. And you also have the Gun Master, which has gun weapons, which give you. They gave Gun Master access to speed weapon, a C-type double saber to casual level catch do speedruns easier with them. And Master Force, I think they gave them something too, but they had the higher level techs that blow everything up in the building. And I think Acro Master's not here yet because I hadn't unlocked it yet. Acro Master is these three classes except it's the Acro Techer and Acro Fighter put together. While it is like has access to a lot more weapons than all the other classes, it does have the lowest statistics like early on as far as defense is concerned on there. So that's the explanation of all the classes so far. And here goes Acro Master. You kind of example what Acro Master is. You had access to the rest of the S-rank weapons on there, which is like the twin sabers, twin daggers, single saber, dagger, whip, slicer. The drawback to it was you barely had more. You had less HP than your level one fighter class. You had like it was definitely a class that you had to really kind of work up. However, the evasion for this class was phenomenal. Like you could block and dodge like a champ on there. Have to meet those conditions for some licensing. Of course, this server still does the actual thing of the licensing things on here. But the basic license switch at any time on there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or actually, I said 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Actually, out of the box, you had like 7 classes, and then you had all the other classes added on after the fact. You have a whole selection of classes on here. And guess what? You don't have to pay for these either. Another player. See? This class server is populated. And that's the Guardian types here. This is the event stuff here. Get out of this. Already talked to them. Alright. So now, that's after all the talk explanation of the server and stuff like that, we're going to show what makes this game special. So instead of just going to like one place and just select a mission from a lobby and stuff like that, you actually have to go to these different actual areas here. So if you want to do this mission, this ship is way bigger than a lot of people realize. Like you see this area, you see this ship, it's like, oh, I wish you could explore the whole ship. Guess what? can, because you have two different missions, which are basically two different directions. You have Dark Labyrinth, which is like minimum level 10 of that one. This is that's the new entry level mission after the fact on there. Then you have Unsafe Passage, which is everybody's starting level here. Do this first. Look at this, you have a lightsaber and a pistol in your hand. You time your attack right, you actually have what's called a just attack, which means you hit the first one. It's all the timing. In PSO, you had to swing at the right time to be able to swing. You can still spam swings with this one too, so you get faster attacks. But if you time your attack everywhere too. The cool thing about this, you can do this. You can actually time it off the block too. And then you can actually do that. I leveled up too. I got controller set up on this. Oh, I think I got. Oh, I know what I did. To lock on the targets too. Helps out with the like strafing, moving around it, so you don't really have bad camera angles like you did on PSO. It's really cool on their front. Ooh, that hurt. Got escape golf. That's a rare drop. Use it from the quick menu there. The special moves has like, sometimes has knock back and knock up, depending on the enemy and stuff like that. The bigger the enemy, the harder it is they can be knocked up on there. Of course, this is the stuff you can sell or craft. This used to be super important because roughly buying items definitely costs a lot. Crafting items save a lot of money on that. Like you can use these to craft like different potions and stuff like that. And gear. And sometimes clothing too. Primates again. Watch out for this. Giant sword, of course, hits hard but swings slower. Ooh, I got a weapon drop. Another weapon drop. And now I found a saber that's light-based. which of course will be better than what I got right now. No difference in damage, I switched to light-based weapon too on top of that. While it's not as good as it was, where you can sit there and just slice through them like nothing, you still do a lot of damage when you have the right weapon type against them. As you can see, a lot more damage. You're like, wait, I can't use special anymore. Because guess what? I forgot to actually equip the special on there. With each new weapon, you can equip your own special for the weapon itself. Got twin daggers back now, too. The twin daggers are dark, so I don't know benefit to that at all. With the weapon, get a new weapon, you gotta equip the actual skill for it. Ride and strike. So now you can do the weapon strike again. Unlock that. Of course, block 3, which most of these maps are 3 blocks. We'll check out Twin Saber. Dual wielding sabers. Like Anakin did in episode 2. By similarities there. Double strike. This is all Sega had to do, re-release something like this right here. If Sega ever did anything like that, they'd make hand over fist money. This is the thing with game companies these days, and this is what makes me sad about the current duration of like MMOs and really stuff like that. They're so worried about making money after the fact, it's not even funny anymore. They're not worried about making money off the gimmick. They should worry about the money after the fact, like them buying cosmetics and stuff like that. So people will pay for this 100% on its own merit. Clear out, get these clear packages. So these are blueprints right here, which blueprints you can actually use to create different things on here. You got a new sword too. And When you complete the mission, you get these little, you get a score rating, which I got an A rank because I call them monsters. But you get a lot of mission points when you get to complete the mission. Different missions give you different amount of mission points depending on what mission it is as well too. But look at this right here. You're in a whole different area now. Cool thing about this, cool thing about these little areas, you can get back to them always on there. Resupply, you can buy stuff like that. At resupply, you can see little things called Agicide, stuff like that. You buy these to boost your attacks and stuff like that. Then if you're a trap, you use traps. If you want to celebrate fireworks, you put fireworks on the side as well too. Protrans were menaces. Basically, Protrans may cost you a lot of gil, but good gosh, you made so much off of stuff too. That was blocked off. Another counter, so you get to actually, there's either you go to a hive area or you can go to another ship of the colony, which is called Fighting for Food. Apparently on this ship the whole time there was a hive area or a portal to the hive area, which is wild. The Fight for Food, they recommend, they have creatures level 5 before, so you always level up from that. You can also join people's parties too, on top of that are on here. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate that kind-hearted Saint. I appreciate that follow. What's that follow at? I'm sorry, I didn't check where the follow came from on that one. Probably should have paid more attention, honestly. Oh yeah. Oh, I see where it came from. I appreciate your love on that. My actual chat on Twitch is slower than my chat actually here on the thing on the. I'm laughing about that. The issue hype. That is right. This game survived the test of time. It's still better than most of the MMOs out there at this point in time. And it's kind of sad to say that, but even with the newer iterations of we'll say that of New Genesis, it's sad that you cannot get the same actual energy you get off of this game than other games. You can always go back to this game and enjoy yourself. You can spend hours in and out of this game too. I'm trying to get the generation enjoying this game. That's the one thing I'm actually trying to go for at this point. I felt like, you know, the thing about it, maybe I'm actually overshooting the concept of like MMO making. I felt like this was a simple concept back in the day. It's like you go out, go explore the world, find loot. I figured something like this was not hard to do in the current generation. I figured like it'd be easier to set up like with current games, but it's like it feels like it's hard to do with current games. It's kind of strange to say on that. I'm just not sure if it's me or I think it's, I don't know. I think it's just like, you feel like that they can make games like this, but they choose not to. I think you can also force a block too on there by actually looking at them. Oh, that didn't work out. You gotta have a higher evasion though for certain level enemies. I think you gotta be the same level too. You gotta have a higher evasion there, strike, before you block and everything automatically. Oh, Acro Fighter is, oh, chef's kiss. Acro Fighter is definitely chef's kiss. I'm usually an Acro Techer, but I wanted to show off like old school early game on this. I already got like a max level character, but I really wanted to show off like the experience of like playing this from the again. But Acro Fighter, beautiful. I'm happy they got a master class finally. I was happy to see that. They made my dream come true on here. I will never forgive Sega for that one. Sega was so scared that Acromaster was so powerful and so busted, they didn't never release it even with the game closing out. They never released it. I got better everywhere. There's one more somewhere. And yep, you have a map for this game. I think it's over this way. No, that's the way I'm supposed to go. Pretty sure I've been through here already. Or I didn't go through here already. Okay, that's why. There. Oh, I missed opportunity for countering. Now I got all of them now. Looks like I actually have that next to me over here. I gotta put that actually in my inventory thing. Yep, don't forget to add something to your palette, guys. Focusing in, locking in. Now we're going to open up the gate. Gotta open up the gate another way by killing all the enemies, of course. I hate ad breaks. I always try to turn those sun goods off. It's a trap. I think I could start blocking out of these. And another thing about this game, I don't think they put actual cap as far as like your statistics overall either. You can stack your statistics across the board. But the problem is, of course, no gears got to that point where it's like impossible to get to. Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to seeing the slicers again. Oh, not long. Both times used. Clear up the whole map. Let me check the map real quick. We're gonna clear up the map. That's okay though if I didn't. Actually, I want an S rank, so I better make sure I clear up the map. Want those mission points, yo. Oh yeah, I think I cleared the map. I think it's the only way he goes from there. Yeah, I cleared the map. So what level are you, Cat? What level are you, Cat Heart? On vacation? Oh, you got two 190 characters? Right on, right on. Only got one 190 character at the moment. I just basically wanted to get that one character up and got him maxed out, so yeah. This is probably my second character up to 90, definitely on, or 190 definitely at this point. Because I hate to say it like this, the way MMO's been going, I might as well go back to the old ones I enjoyed. Full bar wood. Maybe it'll be good for something. Maybe. Or it does good things, allegedly. The knockoff weapons were definitely was definitely peak PSU back in the day. That's one thing I did really enjoy about PSU originally, though, was it did have knockoff weapons like that, and it was quite funny that they actually did create stuff like that. And the knockoff weapons, while they were not as strong, or some of them was not as strong as the actual other counterpart, they did add like a lot of flavor to the new other option. Oh yes, the seed bats. Got him. Got an S rank. Yay. That line. Oh, still a line. Yeah, this fits out. And an arm slap too. Upgrades. This is what I really enjoyed. This is the lobby system I enjoyed. People will never really truly appreciate the fact that when you go through like missions and you go to like a view like this right here, it's like, oh, what is that planet? But you realize you can go to that planet. It's so wild to think about. Like this is original of the original this is original mission line that you can go to. I do believe, remember that this next level is like area, it's like level locked until you go somewhere else. Oh yes, PS Portable was classic. I thought there was a map here somewhere, or a hidden area. Might have been seasonal event though too. It'll load up for me today. There it goes. Now I'm back here. Cool thing is, since I found boards, I could actually insert these boards and craft. This used to be the main staple of how you get actual good weapons and good armor a long time ago. You had to actually craft them. And then, yeah, success rate based on the actual item and stuff like that. So roughly with the blaster, needed like these materials there. And Parwood, you always wonder where you got. Parwood is from Param, but you had to go to Planet Param to go get it. Then you look at this thing, it's like a fluorescent bulb. Where you get an inverter circuit at? And you realize that that's from a robot. And you like, which robot has this thing on here? There used to be like a little internet guide for all this stuff too on top of that. That was what's so cool about that too. coloring and all these materials, metals and stuff like that. He's like, oh, where do I get all this stuff at? But another thing you can do is give your mag items, which depending what items you want them to be and stuff like that, you fed them just like the other mag and stuff. Except unlike with original game, you don't have to worry about feeding them like a certain time limit on there. You can feed them a lot. Tastes interesting. Doesn't taste very fresh. Can't give that to my machine. Yeah, I'm using controller right now, in fact. Like, which menu are you talking about? Like this right here? Oh, can't mark that part. Yeah, I did the controller setup initially on there. Yeah, I can use it when I first log into the server, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a little thing you do with X pattern, and it actually works out of the box just fine after that. I use control all the way through on here, in fact. Okay. There we go. Did the whole... That's my other friend list here. A lot of friends here. It's goofy, but once you get it going, it works 100% okay overall. Like with most controllers, as long as you got an Xbox controller, it works just fine out of the box. But sometimes other controllers do not work out of the box just like that as well too. And here goes all my gear here. I laugh at this because I had a lot of stuff I had to put up. And I laugh at this. There we go. I wonder how much. That story even set in here. There goes the armors. I story even set in here. Got cookies though. Okay. And the shared storage, of course, works across characters, of course, on here. Another thing they kind of innovated here in this game. Oh yeah, she's talking about rare missions, which is funny. Another game kind of innovated this as well too. On top of that, they innovated a lot of stuff with this game by a long shot. It's like nobody else does it like them. And that's one thing I was all about. PSO was upset about. PSO 2. They didn't have as many rare missions or anything like that pop up as more. They did have them pop up over different events, but now it's like, you know, like in a mission type stuff, either beginning or whatnot type deal. You have to link up the X pattern to the game itself. Once you link up to the game, everything works out pretty good for you. It'll make a little ding when you first start up the game too on top of that. And of course, this is another area of the world here. When they said this was an MMO, they legit made this an MMO, which this is what I liked about this game. This is, everybody talking about lobby-based MMOs. This is a lobby-based MMO. You actually get to go different areas and locations to get to these lobbies. It's not the one-stop shop where you go to this little mission counter and get all the missions there. I think that's Melton. Yeah, it's Melton. He gives you a pretty cool weapon on her stuff as well. You have several mission counters from the Param, which that was locked for a while until like they update. I think it's Param. Image Limited's unlocked this area. And this is GRM shop. This is like their main. This is like a mall area. They have all their shops in one spot, like a mall area. So I'm going to do. Not gonna buy anything yet with this. You know it's tempting. Kill disc here. We'll go ahead and buy the other Twin Saber ones. Well, I don't have enough. I have enough money for the one, but not the other one. I'll just say, whatever you do get back, hit me up on Twitter or Discord on there, and I'll definitely help you out with setting it up on there. I don't think it'll take that long to help set it up on that. Or hit me up on here, in fact. I'll definitely be playing this more than once. That's where I bought it. Oh, right there. Feels easy to miss. Oh, speaking of which, I better look for another Twin Saber. Is there a mission? I know there's a mission here. Oh, this is for the event. I remember these events too.
Oh, Rush.
Now we got weapons. Here we go. This is Twin Sabers. Twin Brand. A complete upgrade in accuracy too. I think what a lot of people don't realize was, as far as how accuracy worked, and I think a lot of people did kind of overlook this factor, how accuracy worked in this game, kind of show off the stat a little bit. And nobody really talks about it as much overall because, you know, it wasn't as important because you got higher accuracy dramatically on there. How accuracy worked in this game was not only did it actually allow you to actually hit 4 and not miss or not hit for 0, it allows you to hit the higher number of your strike as well too more often as well too. So the higher the accuracy, the more often you hit your higher attack power and stuff like that. People did not really talk about that much. You know, HP of course is your life. ATP is your overall attack power, which means that how hard you hit, the higher the better. Attack accuracy was basically not only how hard you hit, it's basically how often you hit your higher numbers on there. Technically, crit would actually kind of like, would actually say something like that too. but it is what it is. TP, of course, is your technical power, which means that's how hard your techs hit. The higher, the better, of course, with that. EFP was roughly how less often you flinch. Like, actually, yeah, it's less often how flinch you from getting hit, but also how much damage you take from physical hits and stuff like that. So it helps against shots, anything physical. Didn't help against techs though. Evasion power basically means how often do they have a chance of missing you, not only just missing you, or you blocking their shots as well too on top of that. The higher the evasion power, the more often you block, the more often they miss, the more often they also hit. Another thing that evasion affects as well too is how often they hit a lower number on you too on top of that. It affected their rolls as far as their strike rolls against you. A lot of people didn't realize that either on top of that. So roughly, if everybody went for a higher defense and not realizing that, yeah, I have a higher defense, it nerfs some damage, but believe it or not, if you have a balanced out tech, have a balanced out evasion point, you can actually have to hit lower too on top of that. So no matter if they hit really hard, they'll hit their lower number of that hit type deal. Kind of like in D&D to a certain extent. Mysticism is basically how good of a defense you had against techs as well too on top of that. It also, I thought, not 100% certain, I'll check on that again. I think it affected how often you actually put the status effects too on top of that. So not only does it affect how often you get hit with like hit, basically, it also affects how often you actually hit, how hard you get by tech. It also affected like the status effects and stuff like that on there too. And of course, stamina. Stamina basically is the duration of attacks and how often do attacks actually inflict on you too on top of that. The higher the stamina, the less likely you get one shot by Megan and stuff like that. Like original OG server, US server, 20 was the magic number. If you have a higher stamina than 20, you don't get one shot by a Megan, by a random Megan and stuff like that. It takes level 4 Megan to actually hit you, like knock you down, stuff like that. So roughly the rule of thumb effectively was, at the time, because the way Megan works overall, there are some of you that have level 5 Megan, which is like, I think it was Magashi and stuff like that. Their Megan hits you, it can actually put you down, but not very often. But you always want to get a Megan resist because of that. If you had like a 30 stamina against the Megan 50, it actually did miss you more often than not. But you didn't want to take a chance, have Megan resist. Of course, this is the east side right here. They added Scar Planet to this after the fact on Ambition Luminous, which is a new beginner area. As you see the yellow, that means there was Ambition Luminous there. And they also had Mad Creatures, which is their actual starting area for here. Where if you wanted to start here, you could get away with that. This is the forested area. I remember basically, after you got to like B and A rank, people farmed the hell out of prayer weapons over here. Prayer weapons used to be top weapons for like old school PSO. Not only did they look cool, they were also the top weapons effectively at the time. Fist weapons, yay. Another slept on weapon was fist weapon. They hit like a truck. some new grass. Of course, I'm in this brush too. And yeah, I found firewood. And look at this under cave here. I missed them. Oh, they got stuck. I was like, where'd they go? Oh, that hurt. I hear a little thing. Okay. I figure out. Okay, I think I already opened up on the other side. Twin brand. Twin brands. The light today, so I can't. Appreciate it, Georgie. How you doing today? Peace and love, Georgie. Hope you're doing well today. That's good to hear. Oh, my day's great today. I appreciate you asking about my day. I'm enjoying a really good MMO. Talking about playing today's trash at this point in time. It's been a much better experience so far. It feels like MMOs I want to play, I have to wait like a couple months for. then MMOs that are out now are just complete trash. It's like, frustrating. Like, oh, we're back to the first block? Okay. I guess it went the wrong way. I thought it was this way. Oh, I did switch up. Okay. There we go. Oh, goodness. Probably turn the volume down a little bit on this, too. Got how loud this game gets. And block through. Now I got my second attack. Yay! Another school dagger. Uh-oh. Got caught. Didn't check my health either. That's on me. It's on top of the hill. Oh, it's downhill. Oh wow, got S rank. And to Raffin base. As you can see, guys, look at the design of this base right here. It looks like they have military vehicles here, a couple military tarp. Looks like they were doing some operations out this way. Like, design like this, it's kind of surprising that nobody else does design like this. It's a scary thing, scary thought process that nobody else does this. It's wild, in fact. Alright guys, I am going to grab me some water and stuff. We're going to keep playing this. I'll be right back. My pause screen works or not. I'm back, guys. Thanks for waiting. Got some food and drink, honestly. I'm wondering, should I play the boss? You know what? Yes, I think I can play the boss. Format of actual. No, the worst part about it, when I play MMOs like this, I forget to eat. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, why am I so tired? And I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot to eat. That's why. So yeah, don't forget to eat and hydrate, guys. Oh, funny thing about this server, by the way, it was voted on for a lot of features for the game to kind of like to be utilized overall. There was a thought process instead of actually having like a lot of like skills and stuff like that. Like weapon skills can be leveled the same overall. Instead of leveling gunner skills and nothing like that, you only had like a few sides you can level type. Except with gunner skills, they actually was gonna say that hey, you can find this weapon like this with the elements and stuff like that. It's gonna make it more like PSP. Which is smart on their part, because that would actually make, you know, that would change the whole gameplay dynamic of the game overall. I think the gunners should have said yes, do that, but people were worried about being like one fight getting more stuff than the other one, so I'm like, okay. Another cool, unique little feature about this, you know, some of the actual enemies have little extra pieces on them and stuff like that. Like, looks like an arm thing, and it looks like they're, like, have more spikes in their own stuff. That means they're actually stronger enemies overall. Like, for example, this one here, he looks very different than the other guy because he actually has extra stuff with him. Like, these are two stronger enemies. They have higher attack and higher defense. But wolf touches like that is what makes this game cool. Oh no, I break mine. Almost did. Oh, I think that is done. I wonder if actually. Alright, stop messing with that. Both go miss. Oh, that hurt. this. Definitely get better armor at this point. Block 3. Garbage stuff in my face on this. Up on there. Okay. There we go. Stuff to eat my face out. I helped out level quick on there. The wildest launcher, the Sova launcher. As you see, the more you do a maneuver, the faster you level it. And of course, the stronger it gets. There was a health thing here too. cutscene. I can. Oh no. None of that. Hey, you spitting fire is not fair. Guy, he has a longer dash on this one. Low health. Dead Flyway 2 has lower health. Gonna do his little thing. Calm down, calm down. Oh! He had to get this one hit in. Ah, blocked your shit. Couldn't block that one. Got him. Loot. Rank again. I think I'm one level away from the class I actually want to be. Of course, the lake shore. Oh, they actually bad speed travel on this. No. I am going back to base now. Level 10's like the mark where basically you get access to some cool stuff. Next question is, where's the leveling thing at? Before I do anything else. Oh, I had it. One thing you definitely need to be part about having it to direct input tab, and also roughly have it linked to target to some type of folder and actually make sure it's PSUC on there. Or if you're running mods, there we go. Because sometimes when you run mods, it doesn't connect to it correctly. But if you like to a mod launcher, it works 100% okay with no problem, just like it would. So roughly, if you have controller issues, PSU, especially if you're running mod or anything like that, be sure to have the controller the mod launcher. Because sometimes if you do other launcher, it won't. Mod launcher every time on there. Also, special exclusive with Clementine server, you actually have a daily mission that unlocks at level 10, which gives you a nice little boost in leveling. Sword Tech, I need Hunter at 5 and Force at 7. Actually, where's it at? I think it's either here or in the other building. That's the other stuff. Okay. Now I gotta switch over to Force. And get that to 7. Gotta buy some X. One more down. Yes, one more down.
おう、らっしゃい。何を買うんだい。またよろしくな。
いらっしゃいませ。何をお買いになりますか。ありがとうございました。
ようこそいら。今日は何をお求めでしょうか。またのごひいきを。
よく来たな。また寄っていって。
ようこそいらっしゃいました。またのごひいき。ようこそいらっしゃい。今日は何をお求め。またのご。ようこそいらっしゃいました。今日は何を。またのごひいき。
よく何を買うか決めたか。また寄っていってくれ。
おう、何を買うんだい。
Here we go.
またよろしくな。おう、らっしゃい。何を買うんだい。
I've done the feta.
Naniを買うんだい。またよろしくな。
We'll do this daily, then I'm definitely gonna hopefully level up from pretty good on there. I'm gonna start using the spear because good guy. Got to put stuff on this. We have Rising Strike. In case things get hairy. Oh gosh, wrong way. Much longer distance flame, definitely. Wow. Completely missed. Wrong way. glove. There we go. The ball, brother. He is like a truck still. Oh God, he hits like a truck. He hits like a truck, man. Okay, he's down. fact that I can't hit him from that distance. Oh, Ethan Waver. Down goes Ethan. And Magashi. Actually, that's Carl Hauser. That's Carl Hauser. Mr. Megan. M. Bison wannabe. Iggy Tool. Iggy Tool. Oh, that hurt. Got him. Dump off some stuff here. All the beat stuff. Alrighty. Party is going quite good. Party in tub. Everybody's at. Alright guys, I guess I'll call it a stream. I hope everybody enjoyed this because I kind of wanted to kind of show off what like a truly good MMO was. And reasons why that I feel like that everything's trying to fall off on the wayside. It's like they're in a rush to get like new games out, and then they're also roughly just like they make games to make money instead of making a good game that happens to make money. That's the sad thing about it. That's what I'm disappointed about. I'm hoping that developers find their way because I think people are getting tired of all these layoffs, and at the same time, overall, I do feel like that with the layoffs, we'll see more indie groups pop open and make really good quality games. So the better actual developers and such definitely shine because of this. Get a job you don't like at the moment on there, or if you basically kind of worried about where your next money will come out at, just make games that happen to make games that people want to play. It's not a really hard concept of like thought process there. Make games you want to play. And enjoyable. Definitely going back to the playing this across the board. Probably gonna play some more after off the stream too. On top of that, kind of level up some more overall. Just kind of show the. It's strange to think that we have games like this out there that provide so much stuff from the get. Then we have games out there just barely provide anything, just rush through it. But yeah, who else is Nobody else is on this game here first. So I want to show people in love is actually on this. Oh. Well, nobody's on the same game set. Touch. Oh, somebody's little debut is going on at the moment. I know who I'm right now. Ooh, POE2. I vote for POE2. Hey guys, when you get into this, vote POT2. Then you need to love. The model too as well. The PNG love the super model too. Guys, Salem and Deuces, take care of yourselves. If you need help getting to this game, of course, hit me up on Twitter or Discord me, or basically go to Clementine's website on this. I can actually pull it up right now for the chat. Copy and paste this over. I'll get the download link right to it on here. But yeah, everybody play this, guys. One of the most fun games of all time. What's the PoE2? That's another really good one. I'm looking forward to PoE Part 1's first season because I really want to make a shard build again. Except I kind of want to max out on the shards. But yep, guys. Catch you later. Take care of yourselves. Much love.